I'm not trying to go to the movies to see Tubi. So, we'll see.
Don't do it. It got Leo in it. It's at least a step up from Tubi. Leo DiCaprio ain't gonna be in no Tubi.
I mean, you see what his life is like. He be chasing after them 13-year-olds,
and they be watching Tubi because that's all they can afford. So.
Ooh, might be that's how he groom him. He do Tubi movies to groom him. That's so terrible. That's so terrible. Hey, community. Here's what's brewing today.
Talk your shit, Jimmy Kimmel.
I know that's right. Sweetface Killah. You talk your shit too, boo.
And 107 days with Kamala Harris. So get your cups ready for Minoritea.
Kamala, you talk your shit too. Right. Hey, welcome to Minoritea Report. It's Auntie Carell.
It's Auntie Dawon.
And it's Auntie Jarrell.
The gang is back, kids.
Yes.
All back.
I know that's right. I love that little case. Hey, it's Carell. It's Auntie Dawon. It's Auntie Jarrell. I love it. It makes me feel good inside.
Yes, it does. It does feel good to be back, y'all.
Yeah.
I know.
It's only been a minute, over there. But
I know. Got the beard filling out. It ain't just the mustache. You got all the coonies up today.
Like, I'm trying to figure this. I'm trying to figure out this facial hair situation.
I like it.
Yeah. I had to. It was giving a little walrus. How do you say it?
That
walrus.
How you said it?
Wallaboo.
Look, we all understood.
La boo boo.
Right.
It was given like Snaggletooth vibes, and so I had to trim the mustache back a little bit, and I started growing out my beard and said, you know what, I kind of like a little bit of snow on the chin. So
it's cute.
So, yeah,
it's fun. Like I feel like I've always known you with snow, but then like I look at old like pictures, I was like, oh, I guess I didn't. Like it was black before.
It was low key. It was hella black. It was hella back in them Chicago days.
Like I forgot.
And,
I don't forget.
COVID did me in. This last 10 years, they said they all just scared the black right out of me. It's my 36% British.
Right. It's the mother England coming out.
trying to get out.
Who would have known? Who would have known the DNA would have pulled you back to Europe?
And it did. And it did.
Never should have sent my little spit swabs to Ancestry.com, the white devils, and told me that the biggest majority of my DNA is white.
White.
But I mean, we all know because y'all have seen my quote unquote dancing. So
ass.
Yeah. That's just misery right there. Ain't got nothing. It's a sad state of affairs when you gotta put on a belt to keep your sweatpants up.
I'm so done with you.
No.
I'm so done. You over here on the last loop.
Look, you gotta tie it in a knot. Tie it in a knot so that it doesn't slide down because there ain't nothing holding it up. Not back there.
Sharback.
Hey y'all, did you miss me?
Oh my god, too funny. So what's new? How's your week going, Jarrell?
It's going all right. It was funny because I was actually thinking about you yesterday, Dawon, because we had some homework to do, and I was looking back at some of the past episodes. And did you know that you manifested this whole Spain living?
Oh yeah,
literally.
Yeah,
spoke it into existence.
Oh yeah,
like literally the Black History Month, and you were like, I'm not one of those original blacks, from over there. And you're like, I want to know how the black people living over there in Europe. You know, what's their black history like? What it's like being black? And now look at you. You one of them.
Look at
You one of them blacks
Did
over
my
there.
market research.
She
my
boots in the
God.
ground. Like,
I'm so done.
Reporting live.
Right.
Reporting live. That's
and you literally said, I
hilarious.
want to know what the black people over in Spain are living like. You
I
legit
wanna
said
know
that.
where the people are.
And look at you. Look. God said, say less.
That is hilarious. Say less.
When you can't, why rely on anybody else when you can rely on yourself?
Look.
I know that's right.
Yeah.
So-
She said, I don't need to ask Google. I'm going to go find out myself.
Huh.
And did.
I'm so done. That's
I literally listened back to that episode and I was like, that is so crazy. And that was February. That was the first week of February.
Yep.
insane.
Wasn't even on the
Insane.
radar. That's not even where your head was. None of that. You were just trying to get to Brazil.
Hey,
Look,
and did.
and did. And did.
It didn't try. It was there for a damn month.
Look.
Baby, when I think about when I think about my vision for what this year was going to be,
Now that you're being a
versus
card.
the way that it
It was deuces. The year of the deuces.
Carmen San Diego over here, bitch. Where's she at?
Baby. Baby,
Yes,
a
yeah.
word.
baby,
A word.
I made it to May. And then
I want to be Dawon when I grow up.
Okay, come on now.
That's
Look.
what I will be.
there was a
When
wrap
I
after
grow
that.
up, I want to be shy. Seriously.
Well, we will see next year. We'll see what next year has in store for us.
Yeah.
Ooh, gee, well.
I said when I say us, not just me.
Yeah. Yeah, you know,
Wait, like Aunteas us or Raphael
Yeah.
us?
I wouldn't you know exactly. I would if you were saying we.
I'm confused.
Look, exactly. I wish she was going with this
Listen.
us too. I said,
I am not.
I said,
not.
do we
the
need to
kind of
pause the
y'all
camera
know.
real quick? What you mean? What?
Right.
Listen,
Which us?
I am not the one who closed the doors. Once I break my way through. So
Because it's
we
broke.
keep that door open. We keeping the door.
It's off the
open
hinges.
for everybody. So when I say
Like,
us,
come on in.
you better get up over here before this door closes.
I know that's right. I know that's right. It's like the Matrix or some shit. Oh God. Well, how was this trip to Europe? This
This
go
was
round.
amazing. Shout out to Raphael. And just really did made like an amazing visit. We took 4 days and drove to the south of France and spent some time in Marseille, a couple of days there, and just ate amazing foods and all that kind of fun stuff, and then made our way over to the mountains and did some hiking. 2.5 hours to get to this little like inlet right off the the Mediterranean coast, off of in what they call the Caldeques, and hiked 2.5 hours up and down these really rocky mountains and found our way to this little pebble beach. And there were quite a few people there, so we kind of like meandered over to like the cliffs. And I have no coordination, I have no rhythm, I am struggling on this hike. I thought it was a hike with like just like a nice trail, maybe some pine needles, like this was, we were spelunking. If you don't know that word. We were literally climbing up jagged rocks and whatnot over the hills, coming down jagged rocks, holding on to dear life, holding on to roots and stuff, 1 foot right in front of the other, watching every single step. It was crazy. And I definitely wore the wrong shoes
I'm sure you did.
for this for this excursion. But man, I was glad to do it. I mean, the views were amazing. The water was like crystal clear. You could see right down to the bottom. 10 meters of space between the surface of the water and the the ocean floor, not the ocean, but the sea floor,
Like
and
the
you could
bay,
see right
yeah.
down to the middle of it. It was just fantastic. Raphael tried to like sneak something in there because I'm a comfort kind of hoe. I don't like to be so uncomfortable. And part of that uncomfortability is anything above 72 degrees, including the water. And he dove in the water, and he pops out, and he's like smiling. He's like, "Come on in," not saying anything about the temperature. I'm like, "You think you're slick? You think you are slick? I know that water is cold. I can see your nuts in your throat. Right. Come on, I
can see your nuts in your throat.
Gurgling. But I jumped in anyway. It was cold as ice. That water was so cold, but it was refreshing and nice and all that stuff. And then we had to do a 2-hour. We had a little picnic there, and then we did another 2.5 hour hike back to the car. But
that's how you know Dawon must be in love, because you ain't never heard in the 6 years of this podcast Dawon talking about no damn hiking.
Nothing about no damn hike. Okay, luxury, yes. A hike,
no, ma'am. No. I ain't never heard them words come out his mouth the whole time I don't know him.
Yeah, and I don't know. I mean, I just like maybe you saw my little stories or whatever, but I was having a little bit of an interesting time with our culinary choices.
I saw that. Yeah.
They were very crustaceous in nature this trip.
I like that.
Lots of crabs and mussels and oysters and
did you have octopus or something like that too?
And what's that?
Did you have octopus or something like that too? Or maybe that's someone else.
I did.
Okay, that's what I thought.
I did. Not a lot. So at any rate, those are not necessarily like my favorite kinds of foods to eat, but also I'm not a big fan of like having to work to get my food out of whatever it's in, and
I want my food and I want it now.
I mean, I'm not really a hamburger helper kind of gal either, so it's it's not like it's all the way on the other end. I don't want things like overly produced and whatnot, but I also don't like to really touch my food without utensils. So, and these things, Raph was showing me how to properly eat prawns and
that's what it's
prawns / shrimp. Prawns are like are a little bit bigger than shrimp or whatever, and he likes to eat the legs off of them.
You said no, ma'am.
Do you guys eat the legs off of like the prawns?
I don't. Corey does. Shrimp? Like I'm honestly not the biggest like shrimp and prawns person, quite frankly. Okay. There's something mental for me with them because the doo-doo vein. Yeah. And it's just not my favorite thing. Like I'll eat it.
It's like
exactly.
Catfish. They're bottom feeders.
But I do like some catfish though. Look, I'm not gonna lie on that one.
If you had to catch it, skin it, and cook it yourself, then would you feel
that's not the one?
Yeah, and Joe, I know
I'd probably be like that with all animals, quite frankly. If I had to like kill my own,
can't touch this.
Okay,
can't touch this.
I'm so done. Crusty. That's funny.
Shit! But yeah. So I had a couple of master classes in oysters. I became an oyster fan. I have to say, I really don't like the eating of them.
You like the presentation?
It's lovely, beautiful. It's really, but it is very barbaric. I mean, number one, I didn't know that. And maybe for those that are listening, you're like, oh, Auntie Char, how did you not know this? But I didn't know that you're supposed to eat oysters alive. So if you're having them raw, you are supposed to take your fork and then touch one of the outer membranes. Mm-hmm. You see how disgusting and barbaric this is? Just talking about it, let alone eating it. But you're supposed to touch
Jarrell's face.
Very that.
It was very that.
It was very that face.
You gotta look at this on YouTube,
y'all. And meanwhile, this was me.
Right. Like, ooh.
What are we doing? What is this? It's just
Yeah.
so you get your oysters, and unless they're baked, with like crumbles and all that kind of stuff, but like you're eating them raw, you're supposed to touch the outer edge, and when you touch the outer edge with your fork or your knife or whatever, the membrane will actually move. That's how you know it's alive, because if you eat it when it's not alive and you're having it raw,
you can get sick.
It will knock you out. So here I am with my 4 little oysters, 3 of which I consumed. And everyone, I'm like, it's alive. And then it's the mental trouble of, now I got to eat this.
Slurping that shit down. Yeah.
And not just slurp. Raphael says you have to chew. You're supposed to embrace
the slime and the grime.
So here I am, and
you know what I love about this though? I love how out of your zone you are.
Oh yeah,
because like that is so. But like these are stories that you would never hear Char ever say before this.
But
so I'm loving the outside the comfort zone portion of this.
I mean, he said it's his year of yes.
Exactly.
Very much on brand. Good for you. Like we almost like 10 months in, and you have been on that yes journey.
On that track.
I'm happy for you.
I'm trying to.
Couldn't
all
be
you
me.
gotta do is say
Couldn't
yes.
be me. But I'm happy for you.
I mean, a little bit it was you, because I mean we got together in Barcelona after your whirlwind trip.
No, I'm talking about the whole yes. I'm talking about your journey to all that stuff, because none of that would have been a yes to me.
Well, some of them yeses
says a no for me, dog.
Yeah, some of them yeses would be death sentences for you with your allergies. So
that's
that
true
part.
too.
But you're not. But you're more like adventurous than I think. You're probably one of the more adventurous out of all 3 of us. You go hiking.
No, I don't.
I was about to say he don't like to do
I don't be doing
I
that.
didn't say like, but
He's
you
done
go.
it, but he don't like.
I've done one hike in my 8 years of being here. One hike in my 8 years of being here. I'm that faithful friend that would double tap every hiking photo, being like, "I love that for you. It's so cute. It's so cute." But I'm gonna say,
the 3 of us ain't the most hiking bunch on the internet. I've only done like 2 or 3 myself. We are butted up to a national hiking park here in Philadelphia. That people be hiking all day, every day. I have been in them woods maybe 3 times.
I came away from this trip saying, I got to get new shoes. Because the shoes that I have are not designed for this.
The Tom Fords ain't for that. The Tom Fords ain't for that.
She said, it said Ford on there. She thought it was hefty.
The Balenciagas are not
for
that.
It said Ford.
And a little bit of tea. Ralph does not like my Balenciaga shoes. He just because
they look dirty.
Yes, because I bought them pre.
Dirtified.
What they call
distressed?
What is distressed? Pre-distressed.
I said the same thing when Corey bought his Gucci ones like that. I'm like, why the fuck are you buying dirty shoes?
Because
like,
if they get dirty, it don't make a difference. They already came dirty, so you're not like.
That's too much money for some dirty ass shoes.
Not for me. I've had those shoes for a hot minute. And I think I wore him for the last time going international, because every time he's like, "Oh, you brought those shoes." I said,
He brought them. Oh. You American.
Let's see what he packed for a hiking trip. Oh, you brought those?
You brought some Balenciaga.
Okay.
You brought some Balenciagas.
They were Yoji Yamamoto. But they were my running shoes. They were actually my running shoes. But the problem of it is that they don't have like
grip.
very strong grip.
Yeah, you
they
need
have
actually
good
hiking.
Cushioning.
You need actually hiking shoes. I know. Yeah,
that's funny.
Yeah,
I know that now.
I can't wait to see what shoes you're gonna buy though. That you declare them to be hiking. That's what I can't wait. So, community, this will be a follow-up conversation. Yeah. I'm writing this shit down just to see what Dawon decides is up to par to his liking that he would deem to be hiking shoes, because they probably won't be hiking shoes still.
Well, the good news is we were
Yeah,
we
we're
wear
the
the same shoe size.
There we go.
So I don't really have to get anything because I can just throw.
You know you're going to.
Oh, I will. Absolutely.
Exactly.
You know, I need something that's going to be versatile enough for all of these outdoorsy kinds of activities. You know, like climbing through clay caves and walking over mountains.
She an adventurous hoe now. I love it.
I'm saying yes to a lot. And you know,
what else did you say yes to over there, though? I see something else you might have said yes to, though.
You know, because the community was
Let's
asking.
get to the punch. Like the community over here.
No,
looking.
first of all, it was me though. First of all, it was my ass. I got in that group chat. I said, Dawon, is there something we need to know?
Boop, boop, boop.
Is there something we need to know, ma'am? Because I saw what I saw. All I
gotta do is say yes.
I saw what I saw.
What are you talking about?
What am I talking about? Oh.
The bling bling. Every girl like that in my city, bling bling.
Dude, that picture with them rings.
Every time
on
I hike and I go bling bling.
And Carell was like, "Dang, I liked the photo and I missed it."
The show did. Woke up and literally it was like the first thing that came up on Instagram. So I'm like, oh, that's a cute picture. Bloop bloop, and kept going.
Yep.
Went on with my day. Went to the gym. And then next thing I know, I'm on the leg press. And seeing the boop, boop, boop. And then I look at the picture. I'm like, wait, hold the fuck up. So, okay, we'll shut up now. Yeah. Dawon, what's some news you have on the from
Listen, I don't want to send the whole community into a tizzy, but these are our commitment rings. We're not engaged or anything like that, but it's a way. We talked about this a long time ago. Feels like a long time ago.
Yes, I'll wear your promise ring.
But when you're doing a long distance thing, it's hard to stay connected, and this is just one more way for us to have something that's just us it's connected. So like when I feel it, it just reminds me, that we both have the same thing. So that's what it is. There's no fancy announcements that we need to make just yet. I don't want the community to go into an uproar just yet.
They was in the DMs though.
Yeah,
they said it ain't my business, but it's our business. What's going on?
And what's wild was, I didn't even pick that picture for that reason at all. And because I've been living with this commitment ring for, about a month and a half, almost 2 months. So it's like, it's now regular schmegular to me. But I just...
Oh, wait, so it wasn't even this last trip?
No. It's
I didn't catch that.
If you go back to the last episode of Minority Report where I'm on and I have it on.
You have it on? Damn.
Yes.
Where the fuck? Damn, I'm slacking, y'all.
It was just that, but that particular photo just had them both wearing it at the same time. And it was just like,
it was prominent.
Bing! I was just like,
it was prominent.
Let me say, and then I jumped into because the three of us are in a WhatsApp. So I said, "Oh, if Dawon don't answer these text messages," I went into the WhatsApp that I'm with, and with him and Raphael in it too, being like, "You better answer this. Look, you better answer this text message. I know that much."
Which, by the way, it was what, like 6 o'clock in the morning for you? 5
yes,
o'clock in the
it was 6 o'clock in the morning.
It was right before you were getting ready to go to the gym or something like that. So I was surprised that you were even up, because even by that point, it was like noon for me in Spain. No,
it was later because I was at the gym maybe at like 10 or 11. I feel like that's funny though. So that's cute though. I like that.
Yeah,
I like it. So I was all in the gym trying not to scream from a girl. I was like, oh shit! I'm like, damn, here I am, this butch queen on the leg press.
But I mean, for something like that, I would never just like nonchalantly just put stuff out there like that without having a conversation with the people that I'm closest with. So, I do keep a lot. I do keep a portion of my life under wraps because that's for me and it's sacred. But if when we're doing public proclamations, trust and believe, the Judys will have the first word, and
we'll have the breaking exclusive before Gail. It'll come here to Minority Report first.
Yes. But it did create quite a bit of a stir. There, I got quite a few messages from the community, and I just want to say thank you for all the people that expressed their pre congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah, their pre-congratulations and all that.
Yeah, I've had that promise ring song in my head ever since. So I'm like, your promise ring.
And I gotta get it resized too, because this thing, like, I have really skinny, like this part of the finger, is really skinny, and so like I got a lot of space. We had it sized. I get it, but I think I have to get it sized down, because they say have your ring sized when it's, if you can, in the wintertime, because people tend to lose weight for the summer, and then you gain that step back, and so you want to make sure they're fitting stuff for that. But
nope, I get it, because this is my cheapy ring that I have here. That's why I stood up. Here's my actual wedding band, but since I lost weight in the last year, this shit is so loose. It's crazy. Like, I've like lost it in like swimming pools and shit. So I'm like, wow. And so like I need to go get it resized. And like Corey actually got his resized probably about a year ago, maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And I'm about to sound like Shaw, because they're Tiffany bands, so they can't just like cut it. So what they had to do was actually figure out a new way for this particular ring to get it resized. And what they did was they put like almost like this little lump along the entire ridge on the entire inside of it. And that's how they were able to do it. Because other than that, they're like, there's no other way to. It turned out great. Like, it looked great and all that stuff. But other than that, they're like, you're gonna have to buy a whole new ring. I was like, I ain't spending no more money.
Nah.
Okay,
no, that's why I was like, let me go and get this.
Is this Tiffany Apple?
Baby, Tiffany 26. They said the new Tiffany out. No, ma'am. No, it ain't. The new Amazon for $10.99 right here. How about that?
Shoot, you saved me a trip to Tiffany's, because I got to do the same thing, because I lost the weight too. So mine, like, I can't even really shake my hand without it flying off. So
exactly.
Yeah.
I was like, and Corey's still like, he's like, go get it resized. I'm like, I know I need to do it, but I was just like, just in case I gain, like, it's still that just in case in my brain, which I need to get rid of, because I don't want that just in case. I don't want it.
I do feel like, I don't know, like, I do feel like there's still a little bit more progress that we need to get in the kind of like interpersonal commitments category, the marriage traditions category. Like, okay, so if you get engaged, a lot of like gay couples, men specifically, will kind of like buy a wedding ring and then exchange the wedding ring as kind of like the engagement ring, but there's not really like, there's just, it seems like we're still unpacking so much of the heteronormative traditions, and because we as gay men don't have an established tradition around how we express our commitments to each other, and is there an actual engagement period, and da. Like, you kind of pick and choose from what you, I guess, like and don't like, and I mean, that works, it's great, but it also feels less part of participating as part of a tradition that you really ascribe to. So it's like you just kind of have to make do. Like, for example, I was watching a video about how a new trend in weddings and how they're facilitated is that usually you'll have the priest or the rabbi or whoever's facilitating the wedding kind of in between the two people that are getting married, and then you have their wedding court on best men and all those people, best women and all those people on the right and left. But now there's a trend where they're actually moving the officiant to the center of the aisles between, where people are sitting, facing the couple. So the couple walks down the aisle, stand at the front, so that they're now facing the crowd when they say their nuptials. And it's great for pictures. You don't have, some, body you may or may not want in your pictures, and, in there and whatever. But it's like it's interesting to see how some wedding customs are starting to shift, and I'm very curious to see how like wedding customs, for however long we have the rights in the United States, how they will continue to evolve as people choose to share their love and express that through some kind of ritual.
Yeah, I think that's the cool thing is like we get to decide. Like surprisingly, Corey was maybe more the traditionalist in that regard than I. I was like, we get to do whatever the heck we want to do. But when it came to the actual ceremony, he wanted it pretty
traditional
down the middle. Yeah, and I was like, we could have whoever, whatever we want. It is what it is. So I think that's the cool thing. And honestly, at the end of the day, even cis like straight folks, quite frankly, could do the same. A lot of times they probably might hear more of the chirping of their friends and their parents and, oh, my mom had it this way. Oh, do it what makes you happy. At the end of the day, you the one paying for it a lot of times. So shit, exactly. Get your money's worth.
And that's the exact reason why we're going to the courthouse next month and just to be done with it. Go. And then we'll do the whole wedding tour next year and just go travel and see everybody we would have invited. So
well, congratulations.
By the way, congratulations. She just slid that one in. Exactly.
It's been Minority Report just got all kinds of secrets.
Ain't no secret. It's been an 8-year engagement. Okay, so let me tell you, this ain't no surprise to nobody. We've been engaged for 8 years now. So yeah. So.
Yeah. I think I've shared that on here. Like that's what we did. We went to the courthouse before. Like it would just pass 9/19 is our, I guess, legal wedding date. But then like our wedding date that we did in PV is 10/11. So yeah.
Do you celebrate? What do you celebrate for your anniversary? Is it the ceremony? The ceremony.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And honestly, Corey probably don't forgot. Like it don't pass. I did say anything this year to see if he would remember. He ain't remember.
But let me say, you stay ready, so you have to get ready though.
So did. I have it in my calendar. But I remember because I remember that the year we did it, it was 9/19/19. So I like that symmetry of just like the nines like that. So that's why we did it. So that's how I remember it because it was literally it got to be like the day before, and I was like, we should do 9/19/19, and we did it literally the next day. Like I forget, or maybe it was like a week before because I feel like you still have to do like a few days before they like book it and all that stuff.
Okay,
but yeah. So anyway,
and then have you guys discussed? You and Fizz discussed that whether you'll use that date as your kind of like wedding anniversary, or will you wait until you do some kind of a?
We're not doing a ceremony. We're not doing a ceremony
at all.
No, so that would be our actual wedding date, 10/24, 25. Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
Would sound like Powerball numbers to me, so that's what I'm always gonna remember. I remember I always have to pay the Powerball for my mama. So 10, 24, 25. That's three of my numbers right there.
Do.
35, 32.
Damn, what movie is that?
That's with Mike Epps and Ice Cube.
It wasn't the Friday movie. It was
oh God. I can't remember the
Damn,
movie.
Alexa?
Damn.
I've had an Alexa moment in a minute. Smithy? But Community, anyway, we had to do a little catch up here. But since Dawon's been gone, we kind of hold on to some of the headlines. Obviously, a lot of shit went down. He don't let the country, and this country went even crazier. So we're going to do a few little aunties. Do you give a damn? And
before we do that, I just want to give a shout out to Shayna last week for coming on and just
with the wrong time and everything. She sent that receipt with the quickness. Baby. She said, nope, this is what he told me. I was like, oh yeah, he did say it, but that's not what he meant.
This is why I try to live by the calendar. I try to live by the calendar, but sometimes things don't work out.
Oh God, it's funny.
Yeah, no.
The second she said that, I was like, yeah, damn. She's right.
When I asked her to come on, and she was like, are you coming am I coming on as a guest or am I coming on as a replacement? I said, well, kind of you're coming on as a guest and a replacement. Like, we don't need you to fill in for me, but we want your perspective on, bunch of things that are happening. I just won't I will happen not to be there as well.
We love our booze over there at Bad Queers. Thank you, Shannon.
Yes.
We appreciate you, Blue.
Yes.
All right, aunties, do you give a damn?
There you go.
Epic edition. Aunties, do you give a damn that Tylenol, out the blue again, causes autism?
Well, it's not that. As old boy said that
That.
Tylenol causes autism, and it don't. And so for
And it
that,
don't.
I don't give a damn. Child,
Yeah.
the fact that he told them that they need to toughen up. If you can't toughen up, if you absolutely need it, then go for it. But if you can get through it without doing it, and I said, dude, you don't know nothing about having no goddamn baby.
He's the same one that told everybody to drink bleach.
You right.
Come on now.
Here's how you know you can't trust nobody to tell you what to do when they can't even say the damn fucking word.
Baby.
If you're supposed to be announcing
That
some
part.
damn grandiose thing that y'all have been researching forever, you can't say the fucking word acetaminophen. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. You a joke. It's just another thing because you trying to keep your name out this Epstein file release. It's just a whole other thing you throwing out there for this craziness. So we see the playbook, Playboy. At least pick a word you can pronounce. How about that? Pick a word you can pronounce and say that's what causes it. So I don't give a damn. It's funny going back to like my Bayer day when I used to work at Bayer. I just know the folks at who owns, I don't know, I think it's J&J, so Kenview. I know the folks there are just scrambling because there goes their Q4 for some bullshit ass thing. They already had a statement like that day of, but little shit like that literally sends all your plans for the next quarter, for the end of the year, down the pipes because people actually believe that bullshit.
Yeah.
So,
and I love that this guy came out too, that the first record of autism was recorded in 1911 and Tylenol didn't come out until 1930. So if autism was already there before Tylenol,
make it make sense. Space traveling.
Yeah. Come on.
There was time traveling.
Make it make sense. So,
Back to the Future, ho.
Tried it.
Tried it.
Yeah, they don't go off. I don't think they even know what the word facts mean. Like
they don't care. They don't care.
No, it's just they're just making.
Here's what we need to start doing, low key. If he's just that comfortable lying on everybody, we just need to lie on him about everything, about shit he cares about. That's what we need to start lying, making up shit about him because it would drive him nutty.
This is why I really appreciated that the first episode of the most current season of South Park.
Of South Park? Yeah.
The South Park was because and for those who have been living under a rock and didn't hear any of the things that was going on, most of the whole episode was about him basically being practically naked the entire time, penis out and everything. And it was really, really tiny. And there was a loophole and defamation that when it comes to physical attributes, if you deny that portrayal is not an accurate depiction, you have to provide proof.
Damn.
Put some nudes out there.
Stormy Daniels, come on down. So there was the whole reason that episode was able to be aired in a way is because they were able to get that loophole in there, and there's absolutely nothing that can be done about it. Nothing.
Unless they try to just shut down his show like Jimmy Kimmel. So, aunties, do you give a damn about the Jimmy Kimmel suspension? And now he's back, but the whole drama around that.
I'm torn because here's the thing. I'm not a late night, watcher. Like I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel. I don't watch any of those shows or anything like that. Even when is it Stephen Colbert? Is that the one that got canceled? Because I remember we talked about him as well too, and y'all, were sad about that. So I didn't really care. What I cared about though is just the fact that they canceled him because of that dude again, and I'm getting really sick and tired of them trying to make this dude into somebody that he wasn't, and it's really starting to piss me the fuck off. And the fact that he didn't even say anything about the dude dying, he was literally talking about how people were trying to portray him, and they took him off the air for that. It's the fucking around with the freedom of speech that I don't like, and I hate the fact that they can say whatever the fuck they want to. Literally was telling, what were they saying? Oh, the homeless people should inject themselves.
And
kill themselves, you know, like with lethal injection. Like, how can you say some shit like that? Now she's talking about killing American citizens, real ass motherfucking people. But that's okay to say.
And that was a black guy that said that shit too, I think.
Yep, it was.
That shit really irritated the fuck out of me.
Yeah, but I mean, he a coon, so I'm not surprised.
You're right.
There are a lot of them out there running around.
Yeah.
And we've said their names on the podcast, so we're not.
And we'll continue to do so.
Trust and believe, we absolutely will. But I'm right there with you. I'm half in and half out on this. Half out only because, like, you know, rich white guy, I don't really care about, you know, him. I do care that so many, the bigger picture, so many of our programming, regardless of how you swing, whether it's, you know, right wing or left wing, are being impacted over politics. And that is the antithesis of what this country is really supposed to be about. And I don't like the fact that this was a sacrifice to ensure that there were no problems with the pending merger between the parent companies that were doing the dealings, that this was going to be a potential issue. And so for that, I take issue with, and unfortunately it just continues to reinforce what we've been saying the whole time, which is, you know, not just us, but what we've heard this whole time is that we're moving faster and faster into a dictatorship, into a fascist state, into a political space where our rights that we've come to appreciate and relish are just being stripped away. And, you know, we're seeing a lot of the MAGA folks who are, you know, who FAFO'd, who fucked around and are finding out, you know, what their vote has costed them. You are rural farmers and, you know, welfare recipients and all these other things that they didn't realize was going to come back to them. But I don't think that they really truly realize how much of their civil liberties are going to be impacted as this kind of attack on our communication becomes more overt and restricted.
You know what's funny? I don't think the other side is coming to that realization at all. What I think it is, I think it's the people who decided to sit out, and they decided to sit out because, you know, Kamala didn't speak up on, you know, what's happening with the genocide in Palestine, you know, and Kamala didn't come out and talk about, you know, the war in Ukraine and where she stands on that, and trying to separate herself from Joe Biden. It's those people who chose not to vote because they felt like they were choosing between two evils and didn't understand that that's not an evil person. She was an evil person. She was a person that you didn't agree with. That is an evil person. And it's those people who got that confused, who are now being like, fucked. I am fucking around and finding out right now that the fact that I didn't show up to vote, I am the problem.
I am part of the problem.
Yeah. It's those people. It's not the right side. It's not the right side.
Yeah,
I think the right side will find out pretty quickly, just as they're finding out about some of the economic impacts of their vote and how that's now impacting them and hitting their pockets. I think that they will also start to see some of these other rights that they think are only being benefiting
that will
people
only
of
impact
color minorities,
right.
and not realizing that they impact you too. That it's coming. Because it's only been since January.
But they're using religion. They're using as a religion as a way to keep the people on them side. So until they can understand, I mean, I'm just saying.
Did they leave yesterday?
Oh no, that's only we got that coming. Hold on, I'm gonna say what I give a damn right quick.
Okay.
I give a damn because where does it end? Because I think what I hope people realize, and it's been this way forever, and I've known it and I've said it over the years a few times, that people forget or didn't know that literally what we see out here being communicated on media is only owned by a handful of companies. If that might not even be a handful anymore. So to know that literally someone could get in their feelings and decide that you can't watch something, that you can't hear something, that you can't speak about something is insanity. And so I'm hoping the folks in these small town America areas that are literally getting wrapped up into these Next Star and I forget the other company, and those are trying to merge now, that literally it could be some random white dude deciding I'm in my feelings today, cutting all this shit off.
Yeah.
And it's impacting you. So hopefully it makes you realize, hold on, I need to do my due diligence to see and get my information. Because if it starts there, even say like us on our podcast, we own our podcast, but we don't own Apple. We don't own Spotify. Yep. We don't own YouTube and the Googles for us to put our shit out there on. So if they're going to do it over there, they could easily do it in other avenues where we think, oh, they can't tell us shit. No, they could easily do that shit then too. Yeah. So wake up and pay attention, because it's just not there. It starts there and infiltrates everything else. Yeah. That's one. Two, I feel like Jimmy, and I know I don't watch Jimmy as much, but I feel like Jimmy is one of the few that actually speaks up in those spaces. You know, it's just like he habitually does so. Like someone like, even though I like Jimmy Fallon, he ain't gonna do it. No. Stephen Colbert did it. So they're only picking people that are going to actually speak up and have these platforms. So they're just trying to knock these people out, because if they don't, no one else is saying shit.
Right.
Yep. So pay attention. So that's why I gave a damn, because I was just like, God, they just going after people that actually saying some shit on their platforms. Yeah. And it's just like, Jimmy, all the Jimmys and all that, they're millionaires. But there's people like you and I that go to these shows day in, day out, living paycheck to paycheck, trying to feed their family just like everybody else that's getting caught up in this as well. Yeah. And that's what sucks. Yeah. So it's just bigger than Jimmy Kimmel. It's so many ripples after this shit. And I hope folks, Republicans and things like that, see that, okay, play the game like this now. Hopefully we get somebody that's more on our side in the White House that's willing to do some crazy shit too, and knock all these motherfuckers out and ban they shit then. And it's just going to be tit for tat, which sucks for the rest of humanity, you know? Yeah. From the end of time, it's just going to be, got you bitch, got you better, got you best. And so it's like, we need to nip this in the bud now.
Yeah. I will say it is also really cool to see how much money Disney lost because of how many people were canceling their subscriptions left and right.
And they need to cancel the people that own the conglomerates of the stations too. They need to start writing them. Yeah. Yes, do Disney, ABC, and everybody, and these other stations say, I want my shit on my TV. Stop fucking around with me. Yeah. Stop playing in my face. Put Jimmy back on the show because I want to see him. Yeah. Thank you. Mm-hmm. So I think those companies got off scot-free in this whole thing, and they're the ones that's really fucking shit up right now. All right, do we give a damn? You said it. Do we give it? Where's it on my list here? That we all still here. Praise Jesus. I had to call my parents because they the most holy people I know. If they still here, woo, Lord, I got a few more. Lord, please forgive me. That they're caught up in the rapture of love and Jesus. We still here. It ain't happened yet.
Damn, I don't have my fingers crossed. I was hoping.
It's like, let this be done. Come on, give me Jesus.
I want out.
I'm coming with you, Jesus.
Child. But yeah, I don't know. It was. I've been so busy that I didn't even realize it until afterwards. And I'm like looking at all the like the Nita Baker posts and stuff like that. I'm like, oh shit, I wasn't even paying attention. Like,
it was everywhere.
At all. But yeah,
and it was everywhere, but it was really not everybody. It was a certain subset of people. Yeah, we know the whites.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that part. Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't give a damn because I was like, how y'all know? Jesus done told us in the Bible, he ain't even gonna know. So how y'all know? Mm-hmm. That's what I want to know. Who you got on the main line?
I wonder for people who really are fanatics and are caught up in the, these fringes that actually believe these dates and whatnot. I just wonder how they must feel when the day comes and it's just a regular schmegular day.
And they sitting on the floor because they don't sold their couch and everything.
Right.
What you selling stuff? That's the part that really got me. I was like, what you selling stuff for? Like nobody can take it with them.
Right. Like I'm not taking my my insulin medication anymore.
Baby.
I'm not getting my hair done. I'm not clipping on my nails. You're just sitting there bald and ugly,
Raggedy.
waiting for something to happen. That ain't nothing happening.
Lord Jesus. Lord help us all. Aunties, do you give a damn about Kamala's new book, 107 Days? And she kind of spilled a lot of tea. She got a lot of receipts, but she's also doing things that's maybe a little shocking towards like our community, saying that she did not pick Pete Buttigieg because she thought maybe folks would not vote for a black woman, a person of color, and also a gay person. So it's kind of ruffling a lot of feathers out there right now. Do you give a damn about this?
No. Too little, too late. I will say that she did say a couple of things. I've been following the press tour this last week, and I do like that she's taking some accountability to some of the things she said, like how she went on The View, and she didn't do a good job at distinguishing herself and separating herself from Joe Biden. Like how they asked, what would you do different than Joe Biden? She said nothing.
Yeah. Nothing comes to mind.
Nothing comes to mind. I still. I want to read it because I want to see if she actually talks about, the war with Israel and Palestine. And I want to know if she actually has any accountability with how she handled, what was going on, and the fact that there were masses of people in this country who were blatantly going to rallies and saying, no more, no more, no more, and then being escorted out, So I would love more accountability from those things, because if she does it correctly, I think she could run again. And I think she would get a different result. But I want her to stop being like, because I am a woman and because I am a person of color, I need to play the game that we're taught when we're handling white people. She needs to scrap that. And I hope this book frees her from having to feel like she has to tiptoe around and kiss white ass and please that, because we see you. And the people who see you that need to be voting for you, we don't need you to spoon feed us that rhetoric, that bullshit. Leave that over there for them. But when you come over here and talk to me, you better be on your P's and Q's, and you better be real and authentic. And you better be 10 toes down and real. And so that's what I want out of this book. So I'm going to read the book just for that, because I want us to start making a game plan for the next election. Like it needs to start now. We cannot wait to the year of the election. We can't wait 2 years before the election. We need to start now. Yeah. So shout out to Arizona for doing what they're supposed to do, getting in that extra Democratic seat in Arizona, because that's gonna make the world of a difference. We need to start now. So I take it all back. I do give a damn.
I was going to say, you give a damn.
I give a damn. I give a damn. 1,000%.
What about you, Dawon?
I don't really give a damn. I mean, Kamala, where you been? You been writing this book? Okay. Okay. I don't really care about the shit that happened in the past, to be honest with you. I care about what's going on right now. I'm not really into reading a lot of like politically motivated, books, and I'm not really a big fan of autobiographies, to be honest with you. So all the really good stuff I'll get on the news
from ChatGPT.
I'll get all the all the clickbait and all that kind of stuff, the things that cause the most controversy. But I'm not interested at this point. You should have been president.
Yeah.
So
I give a damn. Just it's interesting now, even though I knew it was 107 days. It's interesting now in hindsight to think how crazy that truly is.
107 days. Yeah, that is crazy.
I'm sitting here thinking 107 days ago, damn, that was like Pride Month shit. I was out in these streets, like time goes like this. Yeah. So to try to run for president, and just the craziness, because especially again, and she had a good point that I knew but just never heard it articulated this way when she was on The View. She's like, old boy's been running for the last decade.
Yeah.
And I had 107 days to try to beat this dude that has been running for the last decade. So I'm just interested just to kind of see her perspective on it. Yes, it's the past. It's not going to really help the situation at hand, but get that coin, sell that book. Hopefully, it helps you like do what you want to do in the future, kind of thing. So that's where I'm kind of all in for that. And I agree with you, Jarrell. It's just like now's the time. It's just like I know this year we were all, at least on this podcast, we were just wore out by the last decade, and so we say this year we weren't going to talk much. But honestly, it is the end of September. I know even here in Pennsylvania is a huge election in November for the Supreme Court spaces. So please pay attention to what's going on out there in the next 6 weeks or so, because again, we've always said it starts at your local level. It starts at your city, your county, your school board, your state. It starts there. So those are definitely, even though we know this administration is really impacting our day-to-day, normal times it's more your state and your local that's really going to impact your day-to-day. So please stay attuned to what's going on. And yeah, we need to figure out what's going to go on now in 2028 or whatever it is, because this ain't it. We only 8 months in, 9 months in, and this is not it. It's all encompassing. It's all consuming, because a lot of folks sat back last time. We can't sit back. So
yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, Aunteas, do you give a damn that Catfish is canceled?
I didn't even know it was still on.
Dawon, that's a Dawon question.
I'm gonna miss the show, to be honest with you, because I still like watching it. I still like will go back and watch a whole bunch of like episodes, and but I think it kind of makes sense. I can imagine that, Neve is wanting to do something different and whatever.
It sounds like they're trying to shop it to another network, so I think he still want to do it.
Maybe, but also like it gets with the technology that people have and the fact that they've been on for so long, you kind of have to evolve the show, because at this point there are a bunch of signs. Unless you are just like not okay.
Unless you're dumb. Unless you're dumb.
Say it.
Not smart. I was trying to be nice, but like the cues have been there. The cues have been there. Denial. There's a river in Egypt. Like, how much more now? Maybe they can get into deep faking and all this other kind of stuff, but tools are getting so sophisticated that it's becoming more and more difficult. So the narrative of what the show is really all about has evolved within the last couple of years, because it's becoming so difficult. And I think it's spun more on people who are who they say they are. They aren't catfishes, and it becomes kind of like a feel-good story instead of like a crash and burn story that I think we all really appreciated watching.
So no more fat ass Kelly Price.
I don't think
no more.
I think we hit the pinnacle of reality TV as it relates to Catfish. I don't think we're going to see anything.
I got a question. Even
out.
with where AI is going right now, you don't think that could really play a factor in being able to catfish more people? Because now with generative AI, like you see tons of like Instagram like thought type accounts, and they look like real ass people. Like real people. And I'm like looking at this photo. I'm like enlarging, trying to find like where is the actual fake and stuff like that. And then, being able to, actually use generative AI for voice simulation now. And so now being able to use it. I don't know. I think once people start to learn more about how to use generative AI, a Catfish show would need to be even more important.
I don't think it will ever get to a place where we won't have some level of catfishing happening. Like that.
Oh, so maybe the interest, it'd just be a norm.
But I think also the tools that will be available to investigate and find out for the person, who is the person behind this catfish. The more sophisticated that the tools are to create the catfish, meaning creating a social media presence, not a lot of, people are divesting from some of the normal social media platforms. the ability for you to mask your voice, the ability for you to create a deep fake you can create videos now, custom videos with, you steal somebody else's face, funnel that into an AI video maker. It creates I could say I'm, Kanye West, and, I go into my AI thing and it's got Kanye West is talking to,
nigga, be
Shanika
somebody
or Andre
else.
or
You don't got to be Kanye. Be somebody else, my nigga. Damn.
If you want to be somebody.
But you see what I'm saying? Like, so the tools for that that enable people to do the catfishing are becoming so sophisticated. What makes that show, and I think part of what made that show great, was that they kind of knew how to investigate and find out who people were behind it. I think the technology is such that they won't be able to do that unless they go to like a tech team who can maybe, and that is just not interesting. It's not the show exciting anymore, right? It's just, it evolves from that. So
I see what you're saying.
I don't give a damn, but I knew Dawon would give a damn. I was like, once I saw that headline, I was like, damn, Dawon's he's gonna miss his fat ass Kelly Price. Aunteas, do you give a damn that Ghostface Killah's son, Infinite Cole, is bodying him?
Baby, body. He said, "Why your ego so low, but your pocket so deep? He said,
"Is your pocket your pants so low, like your self-esteem?"
Oh, something like that.
That's it.
Yeah, I was like, of course you're gonna birth a gay son that got bars, because Ghostface is one of my favorite rappers.
Facts.
So I was like, it is what it is. You don't claim your son. That's what you get. You get bodied by your own son.
And did. And really did.
And it's a bop. I was listening to it at the gym today.
It's really good. It's really good. I was like, I need more. I want more. Yes. More Ovaltine, please. I was like,
please.
I give a damn for sure. It doesn't feel right though. You know what I mean? It's just sad. Like, it's kind of like the, everything you done to me, done already done to you. It's like that. It's kind of like that. And you hate to see, families pitted against each other, because that's supposed to be, blood is supposed to be thicker than water, as they say. But as we know, we're all human and we all make mistakes, and, we're all just trying to live our lives in the best possible way that we can, or however it is that we know how. And a lot of times that's, pretty fucked up in terms of how we impact other people. It's funny as hell. Because it was not expected. It just kind of came out of nowhere, at least from my perspective. Wasn't following Ghost Killah. I didn't know didn't know about this. It just kind of
came out the blue
like a weed. And I was like, okay, I'm here for it.
I was like, but it's kind of sad. It's sad for sure that like it had to come to those terms.
Yeah.
To get the attention that he's probably wanting from his father, and to get the message clearly, even though I'm sure he's probably said this before. I'm sure this is not the first time Ghostface has heard this from him, but that it had to come to this extent to find, be like, hey, are you paying attention now? Are you paying attention now? And it's funny that that term, the proverb, blood is thicker than water. Did you know it's actually the full proverb means the opposite of what people really take it is? It's like blood is it's something like blood. Oh my God. It's like something like the water, like water of the womb. It almost means like that. If your family ain't treating you right, find the family that you need to treat you right. And, something like that. I'm gonna look it up here in a minute. So it's like one of those things that's always backwards, but now it's also turned into its own kind of thing.
This is one of those things, and that reminds me of that episode of Iyanla Fix Your Life where DMX's son came on there with him. Yeah. And it makes for great TV because it's messy as hell, but you hate to see it. You just hate to see it. The breakdown between a father and between a parent and their kid, it's tough. I know a lot of people trauma bond, through stuff like that, but it's tough to see.
Yeah. It's just so funny. It's so funny because, I mean, To me, I love to see it because I am. No, I love to see it because it lets me know that I'm not the only one who had issue with their parents. You know what I'm saying? Like it just normalizes that the other side of the coin is that not everyone has a good relationship with their parents. You know, and it's not necessarily about wanting attention. It's just more about wanting the respect and just be like, you know what, you fucked up. And and it's more about just wanting the parents to have ownership than wanting to be.
He said,
seen.
"You gonna respect these bars, though. You know
it's
bars, so guess what? I got bars."
It's just more about the respect thing, and be like, own up that you weren't shit as a parent, and then we can move forward. That's cool because I'm doing good already, so I don't need anything else from you, So I love to see it just because I feel like in the Black community, often we don't have those tough conversations when it comes to family shit. We will take shit to the grave, and we will wait to a funeral to start having some conversations when we should have been having that conversation when someone was alive.
They still ain't having a conversation. It seems one-sided at this point.
No. But what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying like this just goes to show that we need to be moving in that direction. I'm not saying that that's happening because of this, but it's a sign that we need to be doing it and not waiting until someone's no longer with us.
And he looked like his daddy. Like I was like, damn, he looked like Ghostface. I was like, damn, okay.
Yeah.
I was like,
It does make you wonder. It does make you wonder, like what were some of the things that really motivated him to say, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna get you where you're gonna really see it and you can't escape it." And and he delivered. I mean.
They said Wu-Tang ain't nothing to fuck with, but he fucking with them.
He had his own, so we'll see.
Oh, Lord. This is from the community, a community question. Aunties, do you give a damn, and really it's more for Dawon, that Ciara wants to work with Bad Bunny?
What do you mean it's just for Dawon? I'm the one who went to motherfucking Puerto Rico to see Bad Bunny.
But you like Ciara.
I mean, I'm cool with Ciara, but I don't want her going over there with Bad Bunny because what? No. I need Bonita to be Bonita. I don't need Ciara coming over here. Stay over there. I'd rather see Karol G do something with Bad Bunny before Ciara. There are so many other people in Latin pop than I would rather see do something with Bad Bunny before she bring her ass over there.
This right here is this right here is
No.
This right here.
She could do the Matrix move to salsa.
I know the dodge that dangling that move that Bad Bunny be doing, but his dangling be in the pants. He got to do the Matrix move to that. Woo! Woo! I wasn't Matrixing there. I was just staying right there.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn about Ciara. I don't give a damn about what is the collaboration going to be? It ain't gonna. She's not going to be singing. And if she is, good luck.
Stop.
Good luck. I mean, when was her last hit?
Oh, stop it.
That song Jump.
That's what I keep saying to her. Stop it.
Stop. I'm so done. Stop. I like this right here. I listened to it at the gym today, actually. So we're going to move on. We're going to stop. Aunties,
please stop.
Do you give a damn about Dreamgirls coming back to Broadway?
Let me see the cast first.
We need to find another Jennifer. Like, we had two great ass Jennifers. Like, who gonna play that Effie role? That's all I want to know.
Yeah.
That's what we need to know.
Yeah.
And it can't be Chloe or Bailey. Because I'm tired of seeing them.
Not Chloe and Bailey.
Not Chloe and Bailey.
That's one bitch. That is one person.
I'm so done.
And I'm tired of seeing them both.
Chloe and Halle.
And them.
Done. Shut up. Shut up.
Shit. Honestly, like, I don't give a damn because, I'm not like super big into musicals, but like, I do give a damn because that musical is so connected to Black culture, so representative of, the Black experience from, in a time capsule kind of way. It has a lot of, a lot of connective tissue to the music and the emotion that evokes and all that. And when I look at the landscape of what's playing in Times Square, on and off Broadway, more Black representation. I mean, we have tremendous buying power as a community in the United States, and I would love for Dreamgirls and any other programming. I mean, shout out to Candy Burris for the work that she's been doing on Broadway to bring actors like Denzel Washington and so many others through their works. But we need that presence there. We need to have our voices in our lives reflected, and we show up to those things. Like The Color Purple, did great because of us. Yeah, there were a lot of white people in the audience, but because of us. Low key, like Death Becomes Her is a phenomenally campy show. I went there for Michelle. And and when I look around the crowd and I see the Black people, they went there for Michelle. So like when we show up or we're represented on Broadway, even if it's dusting off The Wiz or or Dreamgirls,
which was a good show, by the way.
Very good. Even if we're dusting off some oldies but goodies, it's lovely to have those revivals come back and it ignite the Black community once more to get involved.
Yeah, any show that's going to birth Cheryl Lee Ralph, Loretta Devine, and Jennifer Holliday, and then give us Beyonce, Jennifer Hudson, and what's her oh
my gosh, she played Princess and the Frog. I'm forgetting her name.
Tatiana Ali.
Gosh. No.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just being disruptive at this point.
Not TKO. I think of you.
Okay, but back to your point.
Right. What's her face? It's a three. She got three names. I see her face.
Oh, Anika Rose.
Anyway.
Anika Rose.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes. So anytime we're able to give that to the culture, I'm here. So I know they're going to do their due diligence and birth us like another just generational cast. Yeah. So I agree. Like we need just more representation and continue to have representation on Broadway. And if we need to revive our classics, let's revive the damn classics because they be reviving all the white shows all the damn time. So shit. And then we'll end here. Aunties, do you give a damn about the new Wicked for Good trailer? Are you getting excited about the part 2 of this Wicked movie?
I found myself oddly. It wasn't until this final trailer that came out this week. Then I was like, okay, now I'm excited because I forget what song it was, but I heard Cynthia singing it, and I was like, oh, Cynthia about to body this song. I forget the name of the song. She's about to.
It's probably For Good.
No, because For Good isn't. That's what both of them.
It's the last song. Oh yeah,
it's the one that's just her. I forget the name of the song.
And it might be the new one that they created.
No, it's part of the actual play. It's part of the actual play. I'll have to. I'll have to look it up. They put a snippet of it in this actual trailer, and she's about to do it. She's really about to do it. So it's going to be good. It's going to be really good.
I'm going to get my tissues ready. I'm going to be crying again. She got me last time. She going to get me again.
I think she going to get me again.
Yeah. And like, I almost want to find, and I don't know if I feel like spending all
No
day
Good Deed. That's the name of the song. It took me a second. It took a second. No Good Deed. Yeah. She's about to body that song.
I kind of almost want to watch them back to back. I don't know if I feel like spending like 6 hours at the movie theater. That's the only thing. But just because I haven't watched it in a couple months now. And so I almost just want to sit there like and watch it back to back and just be all in my feelings and get some even though I'm not eating popcorn right now, but like get me some popcorn and cheat on my diet. Like I just want like a little cozy movie day, I can't wait. Like, it's about to be good. This new trailer like got me back in my feelings about it again, and I'm ready. Slay us all, knock us out, take my lace off, all of it. Please do. I know you're going to.
It's been a minute since we've had a movie that has so captivated such a broad audience, and to just sit I know I saw the movie in the theater many times,
Yeah.
and to sit in the theater weeks on end with it being sold out,
Yeah.
like not just with not even at least in New York, maybe it
Yeah.
has some other more sparse seatings in Topeka, Kansas or whatever, but I mean, no shade. We probably only
right.
got 3 black people, so
We love you, Topeka.
keep listening. But it's just it's nice to feel part of a movement and part of a thing that feels like it's, I don't want to say defining a culture, but you can physically feel the cultural relevance of this movie while you're sitting in it and you're watching it. And there's so much that people can relate to, both from a historical context of what they used to know about the Wizard of Oz and those characters, and more importantly or more recently about what's happening within the Wiz and how those characters have been kind of separately defined in their own kind of genre, and so many people seeing themselves in some of those characters, a lot of those characters. It's a beautiful thing. So I'm excited for the movie to come out. I'm excited for all of the positive things, hopefully, that we'll start to see coming out of people's experiences,
it's escapism too. Like, even though they say you shouldn't escape your feelings, I get it. But sometimes it's just nice to sit there for 2 hours and 30 minutes and forget the craziness of the world and see something just spectacularly done on the screen. There's still a charm about that when it's done well. And it's so few and far between nowadays of just having a good story told on the movie screen.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it shows once you do that, people still connect. And in a weird way, as far left as people are, as far right as people are, people still feel like they're the underdog.
Yeah.
And these stories still connect. And for 2 hours and 30 minutes, we all are connected, feeling like we're an underdog, quite frankly. Once we leave out, then all hell breaks loose again. But it's just like for those 2 hours, we all feel intertwined in a weird way. And you're able to maybe see humanity for a split second. And that's what it did last year. And I know the second part, because the second part's the heavy part of the whole damn play. So shit.
It's been a minute since there has been a really well produced big film feature that is centered around fantasy. And I love that this is I love that this is potentially becoming a cemented memory for so many young children. Like when we had growing up and going to the movie theaters and watching movies, and before, this before cell phones, so I remember the magic of going to the movies, and it was about escapism, and it was about, getting exposure to far and distant lands and different ideas and all these kinds of, things. And I love that this is a story that's going to be an anchor for so many, young boys, girls, and theys that are experiencing for the first time. And they've done such a great job with every aspect, the costume design,
bring
the set
back the
design,
micro braids.
Oh my gosh, incredible.
Can't wait. Yeah, so I'm just waiting for Fandango to hurry up and release these damn movie tickets so I can get our seats.
Yeah.
I got all the alerts set up. So it's like, damn, because I'm very particular where I want to sit in IMAX. Thank you very much. So I'm gonna be duking it out with these grandmas for these seats.
Speaking of movies and representation and whatnot, I was looking for this earlier because I couldn't remember the name of it. But for those that still rock with Netflix, there is a documentary that is called Seen and Heard: The History of Black Television. It's a 2-part miniseries. One part is called Seen. The other part is being heard. And you have so many actors, writers, producers, directors, film folks.
Because this is the Issa Rae one?
This is the Issa Rae documentary. Yeah. And it's just, I don't want to give too much of it away. Yeah, I will just say
I need to watch that.
It's a 2-part documentary series. watch it. It reminds us of how much visibility and representation matters in our media. So I'll leave it with you.
Down.
Definitely something to binge watch over the weekend, or pull your spouse or kids or whatever, fur babies, and just sit down and enjoy, because there's a lot of things to enjoy there, and a lot of things to celebrate.
And that made me think too. Shout out to Scott Evans. His YouTube series is so fucking good.
It's so good.
And he has Kamala. He has Kamala this week. I just love, and I've said it all for the last few years, of just I just adore him. And then even in person meeting him, the energy is exactly the same. Super kind, everything. But to see someone that looks like us, sounds like us, gay as hell too, to be pulling these celebrities and well-known figures to his show and doing it with so much style and grace and just authenticity. We see you, boo. You're opening up doors for the rest of us, so thank you. Shout out to Community. If you ain't watching, because it's what's the name of the show? I just watch it now. It just pop up on my House Guest. Yes, I was about to say the guest is, but that wasn't it. House Guest. Thank you. So if you ain't watching House Guest on YouTube with Scott Evans, please do. It's just good as this TV. He's just good at what he does, and it's us. It's just black and gay, and it's everything. I'm here for it. But anyway, anything else on your hearts and minds before we get out of here? I know we kind of ran up maybe a little longer this week, but we had to catch up.
No. Just have a good weekend. And it's October, cuffing season for those of y'all that's still out there single. So, get your roster set. Lock in.
The boys are waiting.
And if you got some gray sweatpants, dust them off.
Let us see. Dust them off, my bad. Hold on, let us see. Send the pictures. And on that note, wash your hands, your legs, and your ass, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Love y'all. Bye everybody.
Try to take a peek.
Hey, we
little
try to
gander, if you will.
If you willing to show, we willing to look.
Baby, a whole word. Shake what your mama gave you.
Gave us 2 eyes, your 1 mouth, 2 hands, and a couple of extra holes for a reason. We're using all of these.
All of them. All of it. Whatever I got, I'm using.